Right now, as you're watching this video, hackers could be exploiting a vulnerability that Microsoft has confirmed is already under attack. And here's the crazy part. It could give them complete control of your computer or business network. I'm going to show you exactly what threats are targeting you this month, which ones are being exploited right now, and most importantly, what you need to do about it before it's too late. But here's something that might surprise you. Stick around until the end because I'm going to reveal why one of the safest features in Microsoft Office has become a hacker's favorite entry point. And you're probably using it right now without realizing the danger. Welcome back to a Faster PC Live Technical Support. If you're a business owner or someone who uses Windows for work or personal use, this video could save you from a devastating cyber attack. This month, Microsoft released patches for 63 security vulnerabilities affecting Windows, Office, Edge browser, and several other critical systems. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a lot of technical jargon, but here's what it really means for you. These are 63 doors into your system that hackers know about. And 4 of them are so serious that Microsoft rated them as critical, meaning they could let hackers take complete control over your computer without you even knowing it. The good news, Microsoft has closed these doors. The bad news, your system won't be protected unless or until you actually install these updates. And even worse, one of these vulnerabilities is already being used by hackers in real attacks right now. That's called a zero-day threat. In this video, I'm going to break down the 4 most dangerous threats in plain English, show you why they matter to you, and give you a simple action plan to protect yourself. In fact, I'm going to show you how you can install the updates on your own computer. And remember, I mentioned that dangerous Office feature earlier? Well, we've got that covered as well. But first, let's talk about the threat that's already being exploited. We're going to start with the most urgent threat, a vulnerability in Windows itself that hackers are actively exploiting right now as we speak. This vulnerability has a technical name, CVE-2025-62215. But forget that number. Here's what you need to know. This is a flaw in the core of Windows, what's called the kernel. Think of the kernel as the brains of your operating system. It controls everything. The vulnerability allows hackers to elevate their privilege. In simple terms, imagine a burglar who breaks into your house through a window, but then this flaw gives the master key to every room, every safe, and every lock in the building. Now, Microsoft hasn't told us exactly how widespread these attacks are, but here's what's keeping cybersecurity experts up at night. Hackers almost never use this type of vulnerability alone. They pair it with another attack that lets them get their foot in the door first, maybe through a phishing email or a malicious website. And then they use this vulnerability to take complete control of your system. We, by the way, told you about this threat a few weeks ago, but Microsoft didn't have a patch for it at that time. For business owners, this is especially critical. If an employee's computer is compromised and that employee has access to your network, this vulnerability could let hackers spread throughout your entire business, accessing customer data, physical records, financial records, and confidential information. For home users, this could mean stolen personal information, ransomware that locks your files until you pay, or even identity theft. Here's what you need to do. This patch should be your absolute top priority. If you do nothing else after watching this video, install this update. But don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that at the end of the video. And remember, we still need to talk about that dangerous Office feature that's been repeatedly exploited. So keep watching. All right, let's talk about the Microsoft Office feature I mentioned earlier, the one that's been a favorite target for hackers. In fact, If you watch this show on a regular basis, we've been talking about this on a regular basis, really month after month after month. The preview pane for Microsoft Office has been exploited. And chances are you use this every day without even thinking about it. When you're looking through your email or documents, the preview pane is that convenient window that shows you what's in a file or email without having to fully open it. It seems harmless, right? Here's the problem. For months now, we've been seeing vulnerability after vulnerability that specifically exploits this feature. And this month is no different. There is a new threat, and it's another Office bug where the preview pane is the attack vector. Here's how it works. Imagine you receive an email with an attachment. You don't even open the attachment. You just preview it to see what's in it. In that moment, if the attachment is malicious and crafted to exploit this vulnerability, the attacker's code could start running on your computer. Now, Microsoft does say that some user interaction is required, so it's not quite as automatic as some preview pane attacks have been. But here's the concern. The lines between previewing and interacting is getting dangerously blurry. For business owners, think about how many emails your team processes every day, how many attachments they preview, how many documents they glance at. Each one of these could be an opportunity for an attacker if you're not protected. And this isn't just theoretical. The preview pane vulnerability keeps getting discovered and exploited because they work. Hackers know that people trust the preview pane function. This means it feels safe because you're not really opening the file. Here's what you need to do. First, install this month's Office patches immediately. But second, and this is important, it might be time to consider disabling the preview pane entirely until Microsoft gets these issues under control. Yes, it's less convenient, but is convenience worth the risk of your business data and personal files being compromised? Now, we've covered two major threats, but I've got two more major threats that you need to know about, and they're just as concerning for different reasons. Stay with me because the next one has been a favorite target of cyber criminals for years. The next vulnerability targets something called the Common Log File System, or CLFS. Now, I know that sounds incredibly technical, but here's why you should care. In this vulnerability, the CLFS has been exploited multiple times over the last few years. When security experts see another CLFS vulnerability, alarm bells go off because they know that hackers have successfully used these types of flaws before, and they'll try again. Here's what this vulnerability does. It allows attackers who have already gained some level of access to your system to elevate their privileges to the highest level, what's called system access. With system access, they essentially become a super administrator of your computer with unlimited power. Think about it this way. If your computer is a building, an attacker might initially break in as a janitor with limited access. This vulnerability gives them the building owner's master access, allowing them to go anywhere and do anything. For businesses, this is particularly dangerous because attackers often use this type of vulnerability after they've already compromised one computer on the network. They use it to dig deeper, access more systems, and steal more data before you even realize something's wrong. For home users, this could be the difference between a minor security incident and losing all of your family photos, financial documents, and personal information. The fact that CLFS keeps getting exploited tells us something important. Hackers know how to abuse the system component, and they're actively looking for new ways to do it. Just recently at a major cybersecurity conference, researchers presented an entire analysis of how threat actors have been abusing CLFS. Here's what you need to do. Make this patch a priority to get it installed. And if you're a business owner, this is exactly the kind of sophisticated threat that shows you why you need professional cybersecurity monitoring. More on that in a moment. But first, there's one more threat I need to go over, and this one is especially interesting because it involves artificial intelligence. If you're using AI tools like GitHub Copilot or other AI coding assistants, you definitely need to hear this. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. It helps write code, create content, and automate tasks. But with new technology comes new vulnerabilities, and this month we're seeing the first major security bug specifically targeting what is known as agentic AI. This vulnerability is CVE-2025-62222, and it affects Visual Studio Code and AI agents. Now, if you're not a developer, you might think this doesn't apply to you, but here's why it matters to everyone. More and more businesses are starting to use AI assistants and AI agents to help with coding, automation, even business processes. This vulnerability shows us that these AI tools can be exploited. Here's how the attack works. With a combination of this vulnerability and some social engineering, basically tricking someone, a remote attacker could execute their own code on the targeted system through a GitHub repository. Let me put that in simpler terms. Imagine that you're using an AI assistant to help with a project, and someone tricks your AI assistant into running malicious code. This code could then compromise your entire system. Now, Microsoft says this won't be easy to exploit. It requires specific conditions and some manipulation of the victims. But here's what concerns cybersecurity experts. As AI becomes more integrated into business operations, these types of vulnerabilities are only going to become more common and more sophisticated. For business owners who are adopting AI tools, and many of you should be, because AI can provide huge productivity benefits, this is a wake-up call. You need to ensure that your AI tools are kept up to date and that your team understands the security implications. Here's what you need to do. If you're using GitHub Copilot, Agentic AI, or similar tools, install the update immediately and be cautious about what repositories and code sources you're connecting to with your AI tool. This is also a reminder that the cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving. Threats we face today aren't the same ones we faced last year, and they won't be the same ones we face next year. Which brings us to what you need to do to protect yourself. So I'm going to actually switch over to a full screen. I'm going to show you my computer screen. I'm going to show you what you need to do, how you can actually protect yourself, how you can actually install these updates so that your systems are protected. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to click the start button. Look for a gear called or a cog. That's where you can get into settings. I put mine into a folder that I've named Utilities. So we're going to go into Settings, and then we're going to click on Windows Updates. Now, when you go into Windows Updates, if your updates have not been installed yet, you'll see them available here. And this symbol right here, by the way, we can just click Check for Updates if it doesn't show any updates. This symbol here, be on the lookout for this symbol in the lower right-hand corner near the clock. When that symbol shows up, that symbol will often indicate that updates are ready to install or they have been installed and your computer needs to restart to install those updates. Here's why. Some of the update is installed while you're in Windows, but then additional portions of the update are installed as the computer is shutting down, and then the final parts of the updates are installed as the computer is booting back up. So some parts of the update can't be installed while the operating system is in use. And that's why you need to reboot after installing some of these updates. Now, These updates do come out on a regular basis. In fact, they come out on the second Tuesday of every month. And this is something that you need to be alert about if you want to install these updates yourself, or you have an IT person that's installing these updates. Make sure they're looking out for the second Tuesday of each month and that they're getting these updates installed on their computers. If you don't want to deal with this, you don't want to have to think about this, well, you need a faster PC. We actually can automate the updates. And we have managed services plans for businesses, for accountants' offices, for medical offices, for attorneys' offices, for nonprofits, for small business, home businesses, and also for residential clients. And as a part of this service, we provide remote support, we provide in-shop support. We even have on-site add-ons where we can come to your location and solve problems. But in addition to that, we also include software that automates updates. Twice a day, we're looking for Windows updates. So if one of these updates comes out, you don't have to know about it. The software, our automation, will actually install that update for you. And if your computer is on overnight, it will actually also reboot your computer so that that update is installed and ready to go when you come in, or your staff comes in the morning to use your computers. We also are looking to update programs such as Google Chrome and Firefox, Zoom, Adobe Reader, and other programs that have been exploited within the last year. We are looking for updates to those programs on average every 4 hours. And then we're looking for updates to Windows Security every hour. If you're interested in our managed services program, give us a call at 772-878-5978, 772-878-5978, or you can visit us on the web at afasterpc.com. On our website, you can actually schedule a discovery call with me where we can sit down and talk about your systems and your vulnerabilities and how we can protect your computers. Make sure also that you like this video and subscribe to this channel so that you can continue to receive the cybersecurity tools and tricks that we go over that keep you safe. Cybersecurity problems? You need a faster PC.